Loneliness, such a depressing topic.
I know.
But no, it's an important topic, but it's depressing.
Hey gals, welcome back to the Coach Her podcast. This is Abigail.
And I'm Terry.
And today we are talking about loneliness. So let's just get right into the conversation. Have you felt lonely before?
Oh, never. Do you believe that?
No, not
Okay.
at all.
Not at all. Yeah.
'Cause
How about you?
I felt lonely before. I mean, It's
Okay.
in the statistics. I don't know the statistic off of the top of my head, but I've heard from so many people that many people are lonely.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed how lonely you can be in a crowd?
Yeah.
What's the difference? What's causing that kind of loneliness for you?
I think it's not being known.
Not being known.
Because you could have, like, let's say a lot of friends or be surrounded by a lot of people and then not be known.
And that feels like something.
Yeah, I mean, loneliness isn't just like a position, but it's a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of people mix up with like, oh, you have no friends, you're not around people. No, I think it's actually just, it's a feeling.
Well, and it's different than the other part of that word, which is alone. There are times when you want to be alone, when you need to be alone.
Yeah, but you're not lonely.
But you're not lonely because you're feeling a need, right?
Yeah.
What causes you to feel lonely?
When you lack something. When
What are you
lack
lacking?
relationships. Healthy relationships.
Healthy
Let's be
relationships?
specific. Yeah.
What does that look like? What's a healthy relationship look like?
Ooh, okay, all these questions. Okay. I would say a healthy relationship is one where you guys are giving to each other in the ways that they feel most known. You support each other. Not only do you support each other, but you keep each other accountable, because a relationship is, a push and pull where, yes, you're loving and kind and it's fun and it's caring. It's also, hey, if you go down that path, like, that is going to hurt you. I love you. I don't want you to do that. So I think that that's what a relationship is, like a healthy relationship.
Well, and I think it's what's really important and why we feel lonely is because we are created, whether you look at it from an evolutionary standpoint or you look at it from a God standpoint, we were created to be in community. We're, as some people have said, we are bonding mammals. So if you want to look at it from that standpoint. But I think even, from a more spiritual standpoint, we weren't made to be alone. If you look at the book of Genesis, and God made man and said that that's not good that he's alone. And so he made, there were all kinds of animals. There were all kinds of other things in the earth. There was God. And yet that wasn't good for man to be alone. And I think if we look at it so loneliness is at its surface, I think loneliness is a warning sign. It's when we're feeling lonely, it should be a warning sign to us that, hey, we're not connecting with other people. Whether that means they're not connecting with us or we're not connecting with them, that loneliness is there. And what we find, what research is finding, is that the more disconnected from other people we are, the more we have really serious problems like depression, anxiety increases, suicide rate goes up. When we're not with people who care for us and that we care for them, that actually hurts us, hurts our brain in the same way as physical pain hurts our brain.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that. And from my own perspective, with being lonely, I had realized that I was not connecting with other people, and the way that I figured it out was I have had so many friends, and I was like, why? I mean, this is after years of collecting this information of myself, and I realized like, oh, I'm not feeling connected to this person. And then it was not just that person, but the other person. And then it's like, okay, it's all these other people and the common denominator is me. And so I had realized that I was consistently like pushing people away and wondering why I was feeling lonely. And that was one of the reasons. It's like I wasn't going out and connecting with other people the way that I think we should. Because I think it's so easy to feel like, I think it's so easy to get distracted because we have so many things that we can just kind of like do alone and get like expedient like relationships with. Like I've spent a lot of time on like YouTube. Like I would draw, I would paint, play Minecraft, do all these things. And I did this for like probably like a year, just every time I'd come home, just do something like by myself. And I mean, of course I like saw people sometimes, but I had realized that I was spending so much time doing things that I only did and not allowing other people in that space. And so like, no wonder I felt like lonely because I wasn't allowing people to be in that space with me.
Well, I think it's important to realize, to distinguish between, we all need to have some alone time.
Yeah.
We all need, especially you said when you come home, you would go do these things. My guess is part of you was kind of just, your brain was in a place where it was like, okay, I just need to process what I just went through. And a lot of times some of those mindless things that we do, like drawing and coloring and stuff like that, can be a way to process what we just went through, whether it was at work or school or wherever you're at. But I think there's a point when that goes too far. And, I've talked to people who have gotten on, after work, they come home and they get on some kind of a game on their computer. And I ask, what's your purpose for getting on the game? Well, it's to decompress, it's to relax. And I say, okay, but you said that you were doing it for 4 or 5 hours a night. How decompressed and relaxed do you feel? If you've done a game on the computer for half an hour and you're not feeling any more relaxed, maybe there's better use of your time.
That's how I felt. Okay, there was one time, this was a long time ago. I spent like 14 hours playing Fortnite.
Okay. Did you get really good at it?
Girl, I got so good at it. When I tell you.
Right. But again, that there's, even though you're connecting with other people electronically, that's not friendship that we were talking about.
It's really not. And that was so unhealthy, like seriously horrible. I do not recommend that to anyone unless you're a Fortnite pro and you're getting paid millions of dollars. Your average Joe, I don't think, should be doing that.
There's a balance to a lot of things, I think. But one of the, there are a lot of people out there who have 1 million friends on Instagram or whatever, and it's like, or followers. I guess they don't call them friends as much.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we feel connected emotionally. No. There's a lot of, and I think there's a value for all of the electronics, for all of the social media and stuff. But I think the problem is that when something comes out, it becomes so popular that it's like there's too much of a press for that one, and then the next one will come out, and the next one.
Yeah.
And what we're missing is the part of us that is, we're social creatures. We need that connection from time to time, and we need it from the right kind of people too. We need people who feed us. There are some people we can benefit by helping other people who can't help us back. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. So this is not saying like, oh, you just take and take and take.
Right.
Yeah.
But if that's all we have are those people that are just constantly taking from us, we may feel good about ourselves because, hey, I feel really good when I help somebody else out. But if we're not in a healthy relationship that goes both directions, where sometimes if, sometimes I can call my friend and say, hey, I'm struggling with something, and she walks me through it. Another time she'll call me and say, hey, I'm really struggling with something else, and we'll talk it through. That's when I say two-way, it's a two-way street. Sometimes you call your friends, sometimes they come over, sometimes, you're going back and forth and you feel like you're giving and receiving about the same amount most of the time. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. But when you have relationships where they're always one-sided, you want to step back and say, this may not be a toxic relationship to me, but it's not meeting all the needs that we have socially. And maybe spending less time with that person and more time with others. We need to feel connected to other people. Sometimes it's a significant other. There's times when we don't have that. People don't have that significant other in their life, but you still need to be connected with people who you have their back, they have your back, kind of thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. And even for like those relationships that it is more one-sided, sometimes people like are in like the position where they don't have very much to give, maybe because they don't have a network of other relationships. And one of the things that I have found is like when I do feel like connected with other people, when I go and like see that person where the relationship is one-sided, I still feel connected and I have like a little more to give to them because maybe they are like struggling. And so I think that a lot of people, like, one of the things I've noticed is that like gals will say like, oh, I don't want to cut that person off, or I don't want to like not be like as good as a friend with that person because then like they're not gonna have any friends. Well, if you are making it a pattern where you're in relationships that are all just one-sided, like you're so drained that you can't even help those people anyways. So that's kind of my like contrasting opinion towards that sort of belief.
Well, and I think in addition to that, one thing to ask yourself and to see, do I have these people in my life? If your car broke down on the interstate, who would you call?
I don't know, like 10 people.
And then think about how many people could you call? If one wasn't there, you call the next one and the next one. Who are the people that you would call if you really, if you needed somebody to come pick you up? And if they were, now if your friends were, one of your friends was broken down, could they call you, and would you be there to help them out?
I just came to a realization.
What's that?
So one day, I woke up, I went to play with my hamster.
Aw.
My cute little hamster. And I was playing with her on the floor when all of a sudden, boom! I scared you.
Wasn't expecting that.
A baby mouse jumps out at me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so sick. I remember it like it was yesterday.
But it was baby.
It was a baby. Oh, it's so ugly. I'm sorry, it was so ugly.
I thought you liked it. I thought you made it a pet.
I do. Okay. When they're jumping out at you, it's like, what do you want from me?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, okay. So then I call my boyfriend, and this is the morning, by the way. So this is before work. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, hey, I'm like screaming, crying, throwing up. And I was like, hey, this happened. Like, can you come like get this mouse? And he said no. So now I'm like rethinking our entire relationship.
Did he say why no?
I don't even remember. It was probably because of work or something. It's like, he's fake. Anyways, so that's my story of the day.
Okay.
Anyways, so, yeah, but I like your point of, like, bringing up, like, hey, do you have, like, people in your corner that will help you when you need it?
Yeah.
And we'll get.
And are they the same people that you would help if they needed it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what does that feel like to have those kind of people in your corner? When you think, just even after I ask you that question, what does it feel like to think of the people that you would put on that 10, that you said list of 10?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like calming.
Yeah.
Because I think it lowers anxiety.
It does.
We can't do it alone. Like, me, like, thinking about how I have, like, you and Grandpa, like, in my corner, I'm like, girl, I'm better. I'm doing good. I'm doing better. And, like, I think that that's something that everyone needs.
Yeah.
Because, like, we it's so interesting like how society is like built. Like you start out as a baby, you're dependent on your parents, and then as you grow, like you expand your community. And I was talking about this with my boyfriend. I was like, so I'm planning a housewarming party, and I was like, his mom was talking to me about it, and she was like, okay, so you need to make a list of all these like random things that you may need so people can buy them for you. And I was like, what? People do that?
That's what a housewarming party is.
I was like, what? I'm like, what do you mean people do that? And then she was like explaining it to me, and I was like, okay. And I had thought about it more. I was like, wait, I don't want people to like kind of like buy me things like that. Like, shouldn't I just pay for it myself? Well, then after like thinking about it more, like I'm in a position like for the first time in my life that is actually like kind of vulnerable, and people are like giving me things to help support me. And when I grow older, I'm going to be doing the same thing. Like it's just like a circle. And I'm like, okay, now I can actually like get behind people buying me stuff. Like, okay.
Well, and you can, it's just like when you have a baby or something, you know, you can go on to Amazon or someplace and do a wish list. And then if people want to buy something, they know what kind of things that you would want.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll get like a turquoise planter and you'll get a green.
And it'll just be all messed up. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think this all goes to show like loneliness is a good thing because it shows you like, hey, this is a warning. Like you need to be in deeper community because your needs are not being met.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think you asked the question at the beginning of what had I ever been lonely, and I kind of blew that off. But the reality is, yeah, there was a time, and it was after your mom and your aunt got married, and it got really quiet at our house, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I was involved with some things through our church, but always as some kind of a leader. I taught a small group, or kind of always giving in that sort of way. And I realized one night, and I was just feeling really, really just personally lonely. And I remember praying about it, and I thought, well, what can I do? And ultimately what I decided was I need some friends. And it's harder as you get older to gather a group of new friends around. And so I signed up for a Bible study that I was not leading. And I got into this study, and one of the first things they said was, oh, you could be a co-leader, you could help. And I said, no, you don't understand. I just need to be a person in this room for a while so that I can just socialize with everybody else on the same level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that helped. I developed more friendships, and it gave me a chance to kind of feel less like I was just giving and more like I was able to receive some friendships too.
Yeah. I think that what you did like shows like you took action and accountability for it, because it is one of those things like people don't just come to your door and knock on it and ask to be friends. Like if someone does do that, I probably wouldn't be friends with them. That's kind of weird.
No, but it is possible to be lonely in a crowd. I remember one when I was teaching a class one time, a woman was in my class, and she said that she had been to our church for several weeks, and she felt really, really lonely because no one came up and talked to her. Big church, so it's hard to tell who's new and who's not. And I asked her, I said, so have you reached out to anybody else, like somebody sitting next to you? Because I know that other people are also in the same boat that you are, and maybe if there's somebody next to you that you could reach out and say hi to, maybe that would start a conversation. And she said, I'd never thought of that. So yes, taking responsibility. If you're lonely, take responsibility for that and say, what do I need to do to be a friend, to get a friend?
Absolutely. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys soon.